Kyra. Good morning.
Good morning. Nice to see
Is
you.
it Kyra or Kira?
Kira.
Kira. Sorry about that.
Not at all.
And welcome everyone to the 9:30 call. I'm your special guest host today, Titus Dostromedius, Deputy Director at Strategies for Children. Amy is at the Boston Children's Museum this morning for Boston Opportunity Agenda's convening. So she sends her, messages of welcome to you all, even though she can't be here. She's here in spirit. And we are recording this call, so she can watch, and anyone else who misses can watch later on our YouTube channel. Today, we have a very special guest, one of the first 9:30 callers from way back in 2020. Marites MacLean is with us to share some updates from her exciting advocacy work and work with family child care providers across the state. Marites is president and co-founder of Empower Children for Success. And Tess, over to you. Why don't you start by telling our 9:30 callers a little about yourself and how you came into your current role.
Yes. So good morning, everyone. Like Titus said, I am one of the many people who joined the 9:30 call, during the height of COVID-19. So I am the president and co-founder of Empower Children for Success. We founded this organization during COVID-19 with three of my other colleagues who are also family childcare providers, because we felt that we needed to help the people that we serve access the resources that we already have in the community, but they are not aware of. And also in 2021, the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston put out a request for proposal to leaders in the community to provide equitable systems. And I took that call, and we were awarded some money to create an equitable child care system. So with that funding from the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston, we started our child care entrepreneur training program. I am a retired family childcare provider with over 30 years of experience in early education. Throughout my career, I have witnessed firsthand the systemic challenges family childcare providers face, including restrictive zoning laws, limited financial support, and numerous barriers to starting and sustaining their businesses. So our mission at Empower Children for Success is to support and empower children, families, and early educators by providing culturally competent, trauma-informed resources, training, and advocacy. We focus on breaking down barriers that prevent family childcare providers from thriving, ensuring that bilingual, immigrant, and underrepresented communities have access to high-quality early education and economic opportunities. As the program director of the LELE Childcare Entrepreneur Training Program, I lead efforts to train, mentor, and support new and existing family childcare providers. LELE's mission is to create economic mobility and strengthen local economies by providing entrepreneurs, especially women and communities of color, with the tools and resources needed to establish and sustain successful family childcare businesses. At ECFS and LELE, we are committed to advancing family childcare through three key focus areas. First, building business acumen. Through the Family Childcare Entrepreneur Steward Training, we equip providers with the necessary tools to obtain their licenses and provide business and financial literacy training to help them sustain and grow their businesses. Two, strengthen community ties. We forged strategic partnership with the Fitchburg Mayor's Office, Seven Hills as our fiscal sponsor, state representatives, and key early education stakeholders, as well as community foundations and other funding sources to advocate and support more inclusive policies and resources. And three, advocating for policy reform. We champion legislative efforts like HD 1237, an act relative to enabling access and empowering early educators, which will remove barriers for family childcare providers, protect them from housing discrimination, and secure fair policies that support their work. Beyond my work in early education, I have also been a strong advocate for economic justice, playing a key role in advancing the millionaire's tax and paid family and medical leave laws when I was working as a member of the SEIU 509. Both of these laws provide critical financial support to working families and small business owners.
Wow, that is an impressive track record. Now, you're based in Fitchburg, right? But I think your
Correct.
work is beyond just that
Yes.
area.
Yes.
Could you just say
So-
one quick thing about the geography of where
Yes.
you work?
Yes. So when we started our childcare entrepreneur training program, it was supposed to be just for Fitchburg, our residents. But because it's virtual and a lot of people who heard about our program wanted to join. So we have included people from Boston, Lawrence, Springfield, Lowell, Northborough. So, you know, all the regions of the states were welcomed to join our program. And so far, we graduated more than 200 people, and we are almost concluding our 14th cohort.
Wow, amazing. Okay, I know you have some slides. You can share them.
Yes, yes. So,
And folks, please, as Tess is presenting, you can put some comments in the chat or questions, and then we'll get to those after a few slides.
okay. So today, I thank every one of you who are here because I stand before you to advocate for Bill HD 1237, an act relative to enabling access and empowering early educators. This is a crucial piece of legislation that will protect and empower family childcare providers across Massachusetts. This bill is not just about policy. It is about ensuring that educators are supported, that families have access to quality care, and that early childhood education is recognized as the essential workforce that it is. The challenges faced by family childcare providers are not just theoretical. They are real, personal, and deeply impactful. To illustrate why Bill HD 1237 is so critical, I want to share with all of you Annie's story. Annie was one of the first graduates of our childcare entrepreneur training program, which started in October 2021. She was passionate and determined to start her own family childcare business, just like many others in the program. She desperately wanted to run her own family childcare business, but time and again, she faced opposition from landlords who wouldn't allow childcare in their rental properties. Just imagine the frustration, the feeling of being blocked from your dream, not because of your skills or qualifications, but because of a simple yet devastating clause in a lease. I remember Annie telling me about the rejection speeches that she received. They were cold, impersonal, and stamped with the words, "No business allowed." It wasn't just a professional setback for her, it was also a personal blow. Annie felt dismissed and undervalued. She was actually feeling very depressed at that time. But with our support, Annie didn't give up. Instead, she got her assistant license, worked for months with a family childcare provider, and finally found a landlord after 5 times of looking for one who would be willing to work with her. Over 3 years later, Annie has not only upgraded to a license for 10 children, but also runs a small transportation business, providing vital support for families in our community. When I saw Annie recently, she beamed with pride, telling me how much she loves providing a safe and nurturing environment for the children in her care. That transformation from despair to empowerment is precisely why we need this bill. Annie's struggle highlighted the urgent need for legislative action to protect and support family childcare providers, inspiring me to take steps toward real systemic change. Thanks to a pivotal connection I made during the 9:30 call, Kira, thank you for connecting me with Goodwin Proctor, and for to Amy for connecting me with all the wonderful, people who are in this space. I was able to collaborate with associates at Goodwin Proctor, who worked alongside me in January 2023 to draft what would become the family childcare bill. By April 2023, the initial draft was completed, marking a critical step in addressing the challenges providers face. Understanding the importance of legislative backing, I reached out to state legislators, informing them about the bill and securing their support. Annie's story is not unique. Our organization has now completed 14 cohorts of our bilingual childcare entrepreneur training program, graduating over 220 participants, primarily people of color and immigrants. At least 50 of these graduates have successfully launched their licensed family childcare businesses, serving more than 240 children, but the majority of them still face landlord discrimination. At least 80 to 85% of our graduates are having this issue. And this is not acceptable. Let's look at the numbers. According to the US Census Bureau, nearly 22% of Massachusetts residents speak language other than English at home. This highlights the critical need for culturally and linguistically responsive childcare. Furthermore, a 2023 report by the Center for American Progress found that lack of access for affordable childcare costs the US economy billions of dollars annually in lost productivity. We all know that many families struggle to find quality, affordable childcare. According to the Early Childhood Data System, the shortage of available childcare slots in our region is growing. In Worcester County, where many of our participants live, there is a particularly high number of Spanish and Haitian Creole-speaking families, highlighting the need for bilingual childcare. Supporting people of color and immigrants is not just equitable, it's an economic imperative. Research shows that when we support these groups, we foster economic participation, strengthen our communities, and boost our economy. We are not just talking about numbers here. We're talking about real people, real families, and real opportunities. We're talking about building a workforce that reflects and serves the diversity of our Commonwealth. To overcome the urgent childcare challenges facing our community, we need a strong legislative support. This bill draws inspiration from the California law, Keeping Kids Close to Home Act. It is now introduced by Michael P. Kushmerek and Natalie M. Higgins and supported by James Eldridge. So what does HD 1237 or Bill H255 actually do? Let's break it down in detail. Section 1 amends Chapter 23B of the General Laws, focusing on housing and community development, specifically for family child care providers. Section 31 defines key terms, ensuring legal clarity and preventing misinterpretations. For instance, The definition of unreasonably impracticable is crucial, protecting providers from excessive regulations that makes operating an FCC homes financially or logistically impossible. Section 32 limits municipalities from imposing excessive restrictions on family childcare homes, preventing them from being unfairly blocked by zoning or fees. Did you know that some towns have zoning laws that effectively ban childcare businesses in residential areas? This section addresses that. Section 33 is critical. It protects the rights of property owners and tenants who want to operate FCC homes, prohibiting clauses in leases or deeds that ban childcare businesses. This is about fair housing. Imagine being denied housing simply because you want to provide a vital service to your community. And importantly, it mandates that the Department of Early Education and Care inform providers of their fair housing rights, ensuring they are aware of the legal protections. These provisions set the stage for meaningful protections and clearer guidelines for family childcare providers. But the bill doesn't stop there. It goes further to reinforce fair housing rights and ensure consistent statewide policies. Let's explore how sections 34 to 36 build on these foundational protections to create a more equitable landscape for family childcare providers. Section 34 reinforces fair housing protections, specifically targeting discrimination against family childcare providers. This section is about ensuring that no one is denied housing or faces discrimination because they want to run a childcare business. Section 35 prevents local governments from imposing overly burdensome restrictions, ensuring statewide consistency and protecting providers from excessive fees. This is about creating a playing level field. And finally, Section 36 establishes enforcement mechanisms, ensuring that these protections are upheld and that providers have legal recourse. Without enforcement, these protections are meaningless. The impact of this bill is far-reaching. It empowers educators, promotes fair housing, encourages municipal support for childcare, and reduces unnecessary financial burdens. Crucially, this legislation will ensure that families have access to linguistically, racially, and culturally appropriate childcare, which is essential for our children's development. We all know that children who receive quality early childhood education have better educational and life outcomes. Culturally competent childcare supports children's identity development and sense of belonging. It will also positively impact our economy by creating jobs and enabling more parents to work. Our organizations have received strong endorsements from local organizations and community leaders who recognize the importance of this bill. Now, some may argue that this bill infringes on property rights, but let's be clear. This is about fairness and opportunity. It's about ensuring that everyone has the chance to build a better future. It's about ensuring that our children have access to quality childcare. Property rights should not be used to perpetuate discrimination. And to those who feel this bill prevents local governments from implementing reasonably safety standards, this bill creates a uniform standard to prevent inconsistent regulations that create unnecessary barriers. Now let's talk about the legislative process. This bill has been filed as House number 255, and it will go through the 194th General Court, starting with committee review that goes to the Committee on Children, Families, and Persons with Disabilities. Once this bill is referred to this committee, it undergoes several steps in the legislative process. First, the committee will review it, which may include holding hearings where stakeholders can provide testimony and input. Then the committee will decide whether to report the bill favorably, unfavorably, or without recommendations. They may also suggest some amendments. If reported favorably, the bill moves to the House and Senate for further debate and voting. During this stage, the legislators can propose amendments to the bill. Both the House and Senate must vote to pass the bill. If there are differences between the House and Senate versions, a conference committee may be formed to reconcile them. Once both chambers pass the bill, it is sent to the governor for approval or veto. This bill's progress depends on the committee's actions and the legislative calendar. And we are in the 2025-2026 session, so this is the time to act. This bill needs your support to become a law. Please contact your state representatives and senators and urge them to co-sponsor this bill. Let them know that you believe in empowering early educators, you believe in expanding access to quality childcare, and you believe in supporting the healthy development of young children. You can find their contact information on the Massachusetts Legislature's website. And please share any story with them, or if you have any personal stories that you can share, please do so. Make sure that you also post any comments or any support that you have for this bill, and make sure that you tag your state senator or state representative. Also, if you have time, please testify at the hearing, or if you cannot testify, just attend the hearing to show support for the bill. There's also an option to write a letter to the editor and organize a community event and host meeting to educate others about the bill to gather support. I urge all of you who are here today to support this bill. By passing this legislation, we can eliminate unnecessary barriers, empower family childcare providers, and expand high-quality childcare options for working families. Please reach out to your legislators, share your support, and help us make this critical change a reality. This video, How to Stop the Housing Discrimination, Dylan explains the impact of California's SB 234. And I would like
Okay, how long's the video? Because we're getting
4
close to the
minutes.
end.
4 minutes.
Okay, let's go. Let's try it and share your audio. I'll tell you if the audio works. I just wanted to answer one question in the chat. When will the hearing be? But I think that will be later this year because they're still getting co-sponsorships and organizing their work in the committee, right? So the hearings are usually not right away. They usually take a few months to plan.
Yes, yes. But I think they need more co-sponsors.
So that's important right now. If you can tell your legislators about the bill and ask them to co-sponsor.
Yes.
Is it in the Senate too, or just the House?
It's just the House.
Okay, so we put the link in chat, House 255.
Yes.
And you can just tell give that link to your legislators or give them the bill number, ask them to co-sponsor. It's a very common thing to co-sponsor bills at this time of year. So your legislators will be excited for that. Okay, the video.
To stop the housing discrimination villain.
I hear it, but I don't see it.
Not all superheroes wear capes.
Let me see.
But every child care provider, not all superheroes
Okay,
wear
let me
capes.
stop share.
But every
and
child
then
care
let me share
provider
it
is a
again.
superhero. They help parents live their busy lives. They encourage children to grow stronger each
Can you
day.
see it now?
And they
Yes.
do all this while taking care of their own.
That's good. If you can click full screen on the bottom right of that next to YouTube, it'll expand so that it could be bigger.
Not all superheroes wear capes, but every child care provider is a superhero. They help parents live their busy
Perfect.
lives. They encourage children to grow stronger each day, and they do all of this while taking care of their own families. But it's not always easy. Family child care providers are challenged every day by housing discrimination. Housing discrimination follows family child care providers everywhere they live, making it hard for them to help change the world and for family child care to be available in every neighborhood. How can we stop the housing discrimination villain? I'm glad you asked. Rental property. The Keep Kids Close to Home Act works like a cape that protects child care providers from the dangers of the housing discrimination villain, even in their rental property. The housing discrimination villain tries to stop child care providers from running their child care business from their rental home. Their plan is to evict child care providers from their rental homes, raise their rent, or refuse to rent to them just for being superheroes to their community. Luckily, more child care provider superheroes are finding this cape to keep themselves and their communities safe from housing discrimination. The Keep Kids Close to Home Act makes sure that all licensed family child care providers can offer child care from their home, no matter what type of residence it is. What else does this cape do? Let me show you. Cities and counties. One thing is for certain, the housing discrimination villain travels to every city and county in California. Housing discrimination invents rules in cities and counties that stop child care providers from being superheroes in their communities. These rules make providers pay expensive fees for permits, control how many kids they could take outside at a time, and determine when parents have to pick up and drop off their kids. But child care providers are always protected by the Keep Kids Close to Home Act, no matter how scary things get. The Keep Kids Close to Home Act makes zoning permits in cities and counties completely disappear and makes it illegal to require child care providers to have traditional business licenses. Where else does this cape work its magic? Great question. Homeowners associations. Some child care providers live in homes that are part of homeowners associations. The housing discrimination villain uses this to their advantage and tries to stop providers from running their child care businesses at their home by saying it's against the rules of the homeowners association. They try to prevent child care providers from living there in the first place, or get providers to sign a contract promising not to be a superhero from their home. But you guessed it. The Keep Kids Close to Home Act protects child care providers from housing discrimination inside homeowners associations. A superhero's best asset is their cape because it protects them anywhere they go, so they can continue to help children and families be strong and healthy. How do we stop the housing discrimination villain? We have to tell stories about them. And most importantly, we have to share with other child care providers that this cape exists.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was an awesome video. And I guess that most of the policies that are covered by that bill are covered in the Massachusetts one, right?
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, thanks. Show some love for Tess in the chat. And this was wonderful. I'm sure we'll hear more about it in the months ahead as the bill progresses to a hearing and we can advocate to that committee, which I noted was not the Education Committee. It's the Joint Committee on Children, Families, and Persons with Disabilities. So that's a different committee from the Early Ed and Care, which is another thing to keep in mind, right? These bills that affect early childhood are in all committees with many different legislators affecting them. Thank you, Tess. Have a good morning.
You.
And we'll share the recording. I'll send you the chat as well. And we'll see everyone tomorrow for sharing the mic.
Yes.
Take care.
Yeah. Bye, everyone. Thank you.